Good evening. Welcome to the Celtic Way post-match reaction. Celtic 2, Atletico Madrid 2. Celtic get their first point on the board. It could have been so much better. Stirring first half performance. I'm Tony Haggerty at Haggerty10 on a Twitter handle. I'm joined by Ryan McGinlay at the Ryan McGinlay on a Twitter handle. He's live from Parkhead. He's just outside, as you can see. 4-goal thriller. We've just been treated to two excellent sides having a right good slugfest. Loved it, thought it was a wonderful game of football. Ryan, I'll come to you in a minute, but first and foremost, if you see the top of our screen, we have a new sponsor of the Celtic Way briefing. Ryan there's pointing it out, and they are MPH Group, and they specialise in plumbing, heating, kitchen and bathrooms. And we thank MPH Group for sponsoring the Celtic Way briefings. They are Scotland's. Give me a second here to find what I want to say about them, Ryan. Eh? There we go. I'll just dear. There we are now. Yes, indeed. There we go. Yes.
MPH.
Here we are. I'll get to it eventually. Yes, indeed. Give me a second. Preparation, everything, isn't it?
MPH Group. If you're looking for plumbing, heating, kitchens and bathrooms, if any order that you put in puts you into a prize draw, you could win a 7-night stay at the luxurious Moon Palace Hotel in Cancun, Mexico. That's just off my head. I remember that. Yes. All the links will be in the description. Their TikTok, their Instagram, their website, their contact number. So if you're looking for plumbing, heating, kitchens or bathroom work, then please look no further than MPH Group. All the links are in the description.
And they are Scotland's award-winning family-run all-trade specialist covering all of mainland Scotland, and we thank MPH Group for sponsoring the briefings, preparations, everything. It's just been one of those days, Ryan. I've not been feeling great all day, but there you have it. Anyway,
we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get something that can definitely brighten your spirits. Definitely a good performance to talk about.
Onto the football, correct. And the manager hailed Celtic as outstanding tonight, Ryan. Got to agree with that. I thought Celtic were absolutely excellent, especially in the first half. Second half, I thought Atletico showed their class and came right into it and showed why they're such a, as Brendan Rodgers said in the preview, they're one of the best sides in the world. Thought it was a right good game. Two teams having a go at it, trying to win it, and lots of great performances. But I thought Celtic in the first half were sensational, really.
Yeah, it's just we talked about using the occasion, not playing the occasion, playing Celtic's own style of football. We know they come out the traps quickly. We know also that Atletico Madrid are quite slow starters in games as well, and you've seen that they got completely blindsided by that move in the first. I think it was in the fourth minute. Absolutely brilliant again. Those two linking up once more. That partnership of Matt O'Reilly and Kyogo is really coming to fruition. It's coming to the fore. Two of Celtic's most outstanding players this season and biggest assets, both combining to good effect. Matt O'Reilly with another assist in the Champions League and Kyogo with another goal, 2 in 2 games. He's definitely getting the feel for it. It's like buses to come along at once in consecutive games. It's absolutely brilliant for a player that's really been quite outstanding over the past 3 years.
And the 2 goals that Celtic scored, Ryan, they were top drawer, absolute quality. Kyogo's goal, the pass move makes it from Matt O'Reilly, just that cushioned, beautiful weighted pass that he doesn't even have to check his stride, just runs onto wee clip over All Black. Absolutely excellent goal. But the second goal, what a finish from Palma. We willed it to happen again, Ryan, and it happened. You still there, Ryan?
I'm still here. I know you were talking about Matt O'Reilly's goal and the cushion ball that he was playing into Kyogo. absolutely brilliant from Matt O'Reilly, a player that's been delivering so much already this season. Seems
Yeah.
like he's delivering in every game. He got player of the match. I would dispute that slightly because I think there was other players maybe a bit further back that were the player of the match, especially for myself in terms of the game I was watching. But Matt O'Reilly was the key to a lot of good things, especially in that first half. You know, he stood up, he was counted for, and he didn't look out of place in a really, really packed midfield full of really good players. He looked as if he could play for either side tonight. A really, really wonderful performance from a player that's clearly loving life under Brendan Rodgers and a manager that's getting the best out of him, and Matt O'Reilly's putting the best for Brendan Rodgers at the same time, and vice versa. It's definitely a functioning relationship, and he was good under Ange Postecoglou, but I think he's great under Brendan Rodgers, and that's the difference.
Yep, joined by just about 98 people, nearly 100 people, and lots of people giving us their thoughts. So I'll take some comments. Blake Owen, straight off the bat, he's saying it right now. It was never a penalty. Not so sure about that. Thought
you tackle somebody from behind, it's more often than not going to be a penalty. Unfortunately, there was tiny margins. I seen the replay.
He clipped him.
Yeah, that's a penalty.
He clipped him, and I thought it was a penalty.
I don't want to get in the negatives too much on the night, but I thought Greg Taylor was the weak link again tonight, unfortunately, especially if he's defending. Atletico Madrid were looking to get down that side every single time, use his height against them, and use his. I don't know. I think they caught on pretty early that he was struggling on that side against what Atletico Madrid were flinging at him, and they preyed on that. That's what good managers do. They notice weakness and they'll play on that. Unfortunately, we've seen that in the second half. There was an upturn, but we've got more to talk about in the first half, obviously.
Brendan Rodgers saying it looks like Hatate's hamstring. Didn't say that in the TV interview. Must have said that somewhere else. Marquis saying the Celtic supporters know they've got a team in the making now. Agree with that. They were excellent. Very good performances, Lewis Grant, but they lacked the depth tonight. Hail. And he also says that Liam Scales was absolutely outstanding. Thomas Burns comes in. The teams are level above Celtic and they gave them a good game tonight. Well done, Celtic. Scott Melville saying Liam Scales was outstanding. Hazel F67 saying Maeda was immense, as was Scales. Blake Owen come back in saying great goals, Tony. Yes, indeed. There was so much to enthuse about and be delighted about. Certainly at the break, and Martin O'Neill said in the studio that it was one of those games you didn't want half time to come, and because it could work against them, and it kind of did. And Blake Owen also saying Bernardo did a great job when he came on too. So
he's going to get a run now. This is it. He's going to get a run now.
You wrote about Bernardo in the instant analysis, which is on the website and on the socials. If you want to have a look at that, guys, check that out. Myself and Ryan did the instant analysis. Sean Stout, great result, but disappointment. Should have won. Not so sure about that. I thought a draw was probably fair. I thought the Atletico Madrid came out in the second half, showed their class, as you say. Diego Simeone made a couple of changes and it had a real effect on the game, adversely for Celtic, but it got Atletico Madrid what they wanted, certainly. Ian Thompson comes in and he says, draw was about the right results. Thought Alistair Johnson was surprisingly poor when he's usually excellent. Should have made earlier subs. Not sure why he waited so long. Talking about Brendan Rodgers there, obviously. But yeah, Gordon Flowers comes in and says team can only get better from this match. I've got to be honest, I thought it was a wonderful exhibition of football. It really was. I thought Celtic were outstanding in the first half and Atletico Madrid came into the second half and were just as everybody as outstanding as Celtic were in the first, which is why it ended up.
I think that sub that they made at the start of the second half, but the game changed when they brought Marcus Llorente on to the pitch. He had a job to do. They knew that Celtic were getting joy with Daizen Maeda down that side. So they did that to counter that, and he had an absolutely tremendous second half, you would say. But I thought at the second half, Atletico Madrid were probably the better team. Obviously, that'll be caveated by the fact, or there'll be a point made about the fact that they were down to 10 men. Could Celtic have pushed in the last 10 minutes? Maybe that was a bit of a mistake when it came to the subs, because they'd used their free periods to bring on players. I think if they hadn't have done that, maybe that's something that Brendan Rodgers can work on. maybe that Ange Postecoglou, maybe that's one thing that Ange Postecoglou would have done on the night that Brendan Rodgers didn't do. He'd bring on 2-3 players at the one time in order to freshen it up. There was a couple of really leggy players, including Bernardo, I would say, towards the end of the game because he put so much into it. And yeah, Maeda and Kyogo were absolutely spent by the end of the match. It says a lot that I think it says a lot that Brendan Rodgers brought on James Forrest instead of O for Kyogo. There was a couple of really interesting changes. I thought Phillips was a good sub. He's passing. He's not the best passer in the world, that is for sure. He's not going to be a midfielder anytime soon. But he put his head where it mattered, and he put his feet where it mattered as well, and got defensively stuck in, which is all you can ask for, especially when you get players like Griezmann and Morata prowling.
My ball saying he really enjoyed it. It was a great atmosphere tonight as well. Gio saying Maeda was outstanding, and Maestro 95 saying when Bernardo slid in for the ball, he thought Taylor could have cleared it, but fair play. Great first half. They just ran out of steam. Hazelway 67 saying Palma really knows how to strike a ball, and Sean Stout saying the team can now believe they reckon they can get the points that they need to finish third in the group. Here's hoping that they do take some encouragement and inspiration from that, because certainly the first half, as the manager said, they moved the ball about at speed. There was a technique and there was a tempo there, and they cut open a team who are notoriously difficult to break down, and they had numerous chances actually they got in behind, didn't they? And if the ball had been better, the final ball would have been better, they might have had even more joy. But I thought the 2 goals that they scored were excellent, Ryan. You can't ask for any more from Celtic in that sense.
I feel like we need to talk about Palma's goal as well. we need to talk about that more in isolation. This guy is contributing goals and assists every game now, like he did at Aris FC.
Yes,
he did that in Greece. It shows that the acclimatisation to Scotland and a team that wants to win trophies and win the league every season. He's used to that pressure now. I think he's really, really getting into the swing of things. He's the bona fide starter at left wing at the moment. Maeda's having to accommodate at right wing. That might be different when Liel Abada comes back into the fray. I think Liel Abada would have been so handy tonight on that opposite side. It was a game that certainly was crying out for a player of Abada's quality and the ability to put his boot through it. To be honest, I don't think Yang is there yet. I don't know if Mikey Johnson, despite what Brendan Rodgers says about him being a talent, he's got to work for that spot, work for that opportunity. And he's got to get in the team, especially in league games, because it's a bigger squad. In the Champions League, you can name 2 goalkeepers, more players on the bench. But he's just there because of a name at the moment. He needs to come on and make an impact. That's up to Brendan Rodgers to decide when he can come on the pitch. But I think Celtic have got a lot of wingers, but I think they've only got maybe one or 2 that are proven and available right now in Palma and Maeda. But even then, Maeda had a very much a sacrificial game tonight. He had to do a lot of defending, a lot of defensive work. But he will end up with the assist for that Palma goal because it goes right through. Palma takes the touch and then channels his inner Kieran Tierney against RB Leipzig. It was very, very much like that goal.
What a strike. And I think Celtic have a new hero in their midst, don't they? In the shape of Lewis Palma. But I thought it was an excellent shot. It was an excellent reaction to the concession of the penalty. And, you talk about luck, Ryan. How unlucky is Joe Hart with the penalty? He saves it, but comes off the post straight back to Antoine Griezmann, and he's not going to miss that. Ryan's just disappeared for a second again. The joys of modern technology. And yeah, just talking about how's your luck with Joe Hart with the penalty. Makes a great save, but just goes onto the post straight back to Griezmann. You can't legislate for that. It's a real shame.
I'm not saying Brendan Rodgers is a miracle worker, but Joe Hart has been saving penalties since Brendan Rodgers came to the fore or came back to the club. Great save. So unlucky because it goes to the post, and then it's like a gift for Griezmann. A Griezmann gift. He gets the goal. He doesn't even have to work for it. It's essentially a tap in. Thought he was really good on the night, especially in the second half. You really did start to see Griezmann's quality. He ghosts in and out of games, kind of like Kyogo. He's a facilitator. He's not really a forward. He's kind of like a hybrid. He's like an attacking mid and a forward put together. but he's class on grass basically.
I thought
You can
Griezmann was
see why he's
excellent.
in. You can see why he's in the France team and why he's never out the France team. He's had a rough couple of years. He was at Barcelona, then went out on loan to Atletico Madrid. But he's a really, really good player. Not a big fan of his gamesmanship off the pitch.
Never am.
He's and Atletico did live up to their reputation, getting right in the referee's face. I thought maybe the referee could have been a bit stronger with regards to that. I know he took out a couple of bookings. He did book the guy for doing I think that was Rodrigo de Paul's first yellow card, the guy that gets sent off for doing the yellow card motion. He could have done that a couple more times on the night. The dark arts were definitely at play with Atletico Madrid. Simeone, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, that's for sure. But you've got to use any advantage you can. I think that's modern football, and it works for Atletico Madrid a lot of the time. So if they're getting away with it, then they're obviously doing it right. But it's not something you necessarily want to see all the time.
145 people join us live. Thanks very much, guys. We're going to try and read out as many of your comments as possible. CJ7, all of the team tonight deserve praise. A brilliant first half and a good shift in the second half. Bit like ourselves, Ryan. I think it's been a very good shift all day, to be fair, and full of carry on, saying massively improved under Brendan Rodgers in Europe. More time and a few more windows, and Celtic could get out the groups. That's fair enough. And CJ7 comes back in talking about that's typical of Celtic in Europe. Tony, no luck. I think he's talking about my reference to the penalty going straight back to Griezmann after Joe Hart had saved it.
It pinballs to him. It pinballs to Griezmann completely.
Yeah. But Hazel F67 coming in. Celtic are the nucleus of a great team. I'm sure Brendan Rodgers will be working in areas that need improving. I'm sure he will, but I thought that was a level tonight and a tempo in that performance, especially the first half. Yeah, they ran out of steam, but I think it also showed that a good manager in Simeone who made changes to affect the game in the second half, and they certainly did. But Celtic did their bit by scoring twice in the first half and scoring the second one 3 minutes after they conceded a penalty. So I was chuffed with a lot of things about Celtic tonight. Right, give me a second. I'm going to have to blow those.
No bother at all. Yeah, I was delighted with Celtic too and their performance on the night. There were so many positives that you can take. I think that's probably a good segue to talk about the defence tonight, specifically the centre backs and Cameron Carter-Vickers. Phillips, maybe we can give credit to Phillips too because he came on and did a good job. But I think you've really got to talk about Liam Scales, to be honest. An absolutely tremendous performance by the defender. He's having a bit of a career renaissance at the moment. Really, really incredible stuff from the defender. I think a new contract has got to be in the question now. With regards to Liam Scales, he's been absolutely phenomenal, and he deserves it. And I know I was talking about maybe him potentially getting a better. Because I don't want Liam Scales to go anywhere after that performance tonight. He shows he can mix it. He can mix it with the big boys. He can mix it with Atletico Madrid.
He's just loving life at the minute, isn't he? And
it's an absolutely incredible turnaround. I cannot believe it's the same player that I watched against St Johnstone, touching the ball about 7 times before passing it. Now you can see the confidence in his game. The confidence is emitting out of him. You can see just his poise on the ball, and he's comfortable. He's so content in passing the ball, even in tight areas. He's become an unexpected weapon, but a weapon all the same for Brendan Rodgers to utilise. Some job for Lagerbielke and Navrovsky to shift him at the moment because
good luck with that with the two of them.
That's brilliant. It shows a depth in the defence, and Phillips has got a job to do to break them up as well. I think he'll be more emergency than anything else. But there was an emergency tonight in terms of the defence. He came on and did a job. Iwata can do that too. Kobayashi, he's probably not going to get a game. Welsh is going to be in and around the team on his back. You forget about these players. About Lagerbielke, and Navrovsky's coming back as well. So it's such a strength and depth in that position. I don't think we've seen a depth like that in defence in a long, long time in terms of quality of players that can come in and do a job when required. It's a brilliant headache for Brendan Rodgers to have. I think the best headache is Liam Scales, to be honest, because at the moment you cannot drop him. He's undroppable. I thought he was the better out of the two centre halves tonight. That's how good I thought he was tonight, and And Carter Vickers, it takes some beating to be better than Carter Vickers. But I thought Liam Scales matched him and then some.
Yeah. Oh, he certainly did. I thought he was excellent tonight, to be fair as well. 420 Summer saying Celtic did great overall, very happy with the performance. And he comes back in and says Scales was class. Kevin Carr gets Scales signed up in a long-term contract next Celtic.
He's got the armband already.
Yeah, there you go. Ian Thompson comes in and says he was particularly impressed with how composed Celtic were playing out from the back. Yeah, I noticed that myself. And yeah, I mean, just lots of things to enthuse about. Would have been great had they got that win for the first time in 10 years, but you can't complain with a performance like that. They will probably play worse in Europe and win matches. It's just the nature of football, isn't it?
I say that, but Celtic have to be almost world class to get anything in Europe. Nothing is a given for Celtic just due to the opposition that they're playing against. But
yeah,
it's just your luck. It was probably that first half. I think when Celtic went 2-1 up, I was speaking to the people around me in the stadium, and they were saying, Atletico Madrid were rattled. They were completely rattled. They were putting the ball out of play. They didn't look comfortable on the ball. Maeda was pressing them.
Yep.
They just did not like that. I don't think they often come up against a player like Dyson Maeda. Totally unlike anything that they'll face in Spain. They might have wingers that have the pace that are a bit more technical, but Maeda's an athlete. He can do that for 60, 70 minutes against top quality opposition, 90 minutes against maybe the Scottish opposition as well. But there was respect given by Simeone tonight with those changes made at half time.
Yeah.
That was a direct show of respect to Celtic because they were having problems against Celtic's attack.
That was a nod to say you guys are having you've had your moment, we're going to have ours type thing, wasn't it?
I mean, quality always shines through.
Yeah. James Livingston comes in and says Celtic showed that they belong tonight with their attacking play and their ability to grind it out later when the fatigue set in. I was impressed with both of those elements as well. Colin Rodgers, Big Liam Scales, living the dream, the big Celtic warrior. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. And Blake Owen, Scales loves winning a header, proper die-hard body in the line defender. It's very admirable. It most certainly is.
He's a guy that's had to work for everything, and you can see that in his performances. It's just pure graft and determination, and he deserves it because he's the confidence is so clear to see. Everything he does is with purpose and poise, and I'm absolutely delighted for him. I'm firmly on the Scales train now. It took me a while to get on it, I'll be honest. A lot of people were very keen to go on it. I was willing to give him a couple of games, a bit of game time. I wanted to see him do it over the course of 6-7 games. That's quite a few games that he could easily be called man of the match in terms of defence and his defensive performances. So yeah, I'm firmly on the Scales train now, and he's a very, very valuable asset to have for the club at the moment. I think that new contract has got to be
I think it'll be something
put his way.
I think it'll be something that'll be in the offing. Here's Borders boy, the Celtic way. If Scales was Italian, how much would he be worth right now? And lots of comments coming in. Neeps saying it's small margins at this level. It most certainly is.
Felt that in the last game.
Yep. Plunge McNugget saying the way Morata celebrated equaliser showed that the Atletico knew they were in a game. And yeah, most certainly.
That's the one thing you can't allow Morata to do. Get his head on the ball.
Get his head on the ball.
Great header. It's always that goal.
It's a similar type of header, yeah. It was a Cavani type header, wasn't it?
He's not. I don't think he's very good with the ball at his feet, to be honest with you.
Same as the Lazio header. That kind of header, wasn't it?
He's a very, very good header of the ball. That's been one of his strengths in his career. He's played for a lot of big teams because of that. He's an outball. He's a focal point up front, and he showed that.
Sean Stout, Celtic play like that in a bread and butter league, they'll steamroll the league. I'd like to think they could replicate that in those levels in the Scottish Premiership. I'm sure they will. Marcus getting a bit carried away. John Beckenbauer Scales. And CG7 also saying, to be fair, Scales had a shout for a penalty. John Hartson was saying it was the other way, that Scales were being wrestled and manhandled to the ground. He felt it was a Celtic penalty. If you watch the incident again, he was grappled, but the ref gave it the other way. But Chris Murray, just the luck. Yep, that's the one you need to go for you in that situation to give you a free shot at goal for a potential winner. Sean Stout also saying agree, possible penalty.
When that corner was given, when that corner was given, I was just thinking that fairy tale story, the Cinderella story that we were talking about. I thought it was going to be Liam Scales that was going to get the header to win the game, or put Celtic ahead with a couple of minutes to go. It would have been the perfect turnaround, the full circle moment for Liam Scales. I still think that moment will come with regard to a winner in a game. Everything just seems to be going well for him. There's a couple of points where he did get lucky with one transition of play with the ball where it hit off an Atletico Madrid player and it went back to him. Now I've seen that loads of times with a Celtic defender in Europe. They messed that up and then the opposition team are through on goal. He got that bit of luck because everything's going for him at the moment. And sometimes you need to ride your luck. He certainly did with a couple of the offside decisions for goals in the game. But if Celtic hadn't got anything from that game, it would have been a travesty, especially due to the first half performance. They gave Atletico Madrid a game, a game that other teams
well worthy of the point.
Given them that game, and Celtic did give them that game.
They were well worthy of the point, no doubt about that.
I think a point's a fair result.
Yeah, TJ Lundy was good to see. Bernardo definitely looks better domestically. Done well though. Don't mean to talk bad about him, but I really thought he would have got sent off with the challenges. But this is a chance for him now. He has got an opportunity now that Haggerty could be out if it's a hamstring injury. Marcus coming in. Bernardo looks feisty with a touch of class when he come on, so Haggerty wasn't really missed.
I still think he was missed on the night. I think Gaio was missed.
Thought Bernardo did really well though to come into a game of that magnitude and hold his own, more than hold his own. So I was chuffed at that. He kind of rose to the plate. Yeah, challenges.
He got Celtic the point as well with the fact that he rode the challenge of the red card. He just got ahead of DePaul and DePaul out a leg, and it was always going to be a second yellow from that. There was a couple of really good defensive moments from Bernardo as well, showing that he's got that industry in him. The ability to go both ways. He can attack. He looked a wee bit apprehensive in putting the ball in the box. He wanted to pass it more than put the ball in the box. So that's maybe something he can work on. But you can tell he's from Benfica's academy. He's got a bit of class about him with the ball at his feet. He's definitely a Portuguese midfielder, that's for sure.
Always looking to play football. I think it's a Portuguese midfield trait, isn't it? They've seen a lot of Portuguese midfielders down throughout the years, and they don't lump balls into the box, do they? Hopeful stuff. They always kind of look to play it on the deck, and which is fine. I don't mind that from Bernardo, but sometimes you throw a ball into the mixer, don't you?
Yeah. It's up to Bernardo now to do a Liam Scales. Now I'm not comparing the two, but there was an opportunity. There's an opportunity for Bernardo to take that step that Liam Scales did. They were waiting on an opportunity, waiting the wing, and now an opportunity presents itself. I don't think it'll be David Turnbull in the team. I think it will be Bernardo. I think that vote of confidence tonight indicates that it will be Bernardo that gets that opportunity.
Yep.
This is what he's been waiting on. If he's playing for a contract at the end of the day, he's playing for that big contract at the end of his Celtic loan. He'll want to stay at the club and get first team football. It's up to him to make that a reality, and he can only do that by impressing both in training and on the pitch. This could be the start. It took Edward. I remember Edward scored his debut. It was that Motherwell game that he really came to the fore where he scored a hat-trick. I think there was a couple of injuries that day as well. These players, they just need that opportunity, that golden ticket almost, that opportunity to play in the team. I'm not comparing Paulo Bernardo to Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but if he can do that, then he'll be on to something. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him as the weeks go on. That can be maybe a positive and the negative of Haggerty going off injured. It's quite rubbish that my article is now out of date a day after writing it. I said he was back in business, and now it looks as if he'll be back on the treatment table, so that's really gutting.
People look at that and think you're a jinx, Ryan, that you shouldn't have done anything and said nothing. Sometimes it's better to say nothing, but hey, that could happen to any footballer at any stage in their career and in any game, so it's one of those things. But Haggerty's loss is an opportunity for the likes of Bernardo, maybe even Thiago home if he wants to alternate it. So we'll see.
Was he on the bench tonight? Sorry,
I'm trying to remember.
I didn't see his name. I
don't think he was. Not off the top of my head. I don't remember seeing his name.
We've not heard anything about him, so I don't know if it's an off the field issue, if it's a tactical issue. That's something that maybe we need a bit more clarity on. But in the glimpses that we've seen of him, he looked like a cool customer on the,
He
with the
looked
ball.
tidy, yeah.
This is a big chance for him and Bernardo if he can get himself back in the team. But I think right now it's Bernardo's jersey to lose if Hatate is out for a long time.
Yeah. Holm wasn't on the bench, and Lydia McGranny's been saying he was suspended.
Does he have the 3 matches?
The 3 matches for, yeah, would that be deemed violent conduct? Was it with the first sending off?
Because it was a studded one.
Yeah. So, yeah, indeed, that
Because
clarifies it.
Lagerbielke was on the bench. Obviously, he was.
Yes,
he wasn't available in the last game.
That was a second yellow, but he gets sent off for, wasn't it, against Final? Yeah. So yeah, correct. That clears that up.
That was one of the funny moments tonight where Atletico Madrid were saying to go to VAR for a second yellow.
Yeah.
I thought they would have known all the tricks in the book. They seem to forget that VAR can't go. They can't intervene for 2 yellows. So that was a bit of a nightmare for them.
Guys, I've been struggling all day, so if you hear it, my voice and nasally, I apologise for that. But the show must go on, as we've said all day, Ryan, and well, I'm doing my best, but certainly been feeling under the weather all day. You're in the midst of the weather here, Ryan. You're certainly under the weather, are you not?
It seems as if the rain has gone off, which is quite good. I was waiting. Obviously, we do this with a tripod normally. It's a better view because I can talk outside. I still am basically outside Celtic Park. With the tripod, it would just mean water damage to my phone. I don't want to jeopardise my phone. Stay under a roof. If I can do it in like a selfie mode, then that's absolutely fine. I'm glad that I can be able to, even through this DIY means, we can do a post-match reaction and a post-match reaction to a good performance. And Celtic have got a point, and I would say it's a better return already than in the Champions League last season. I know they get 2 points, but they were both against Shakhtar Donetsk, a team that was essentially in crisis due to the situation that they have in their own country. The fact that they've got that point against Atletico Madrid, a team that were not so long ago in the Champions League final, under the same manager, may I add, I just think there's more of a scalp. It's kind of like a half scalp because you don't have the full scalp. You've taken something from a really, really good team.
Yeah, I agree with the manager. I thought they were outstanding. You can't fault Celtic tonight. They put everything into that, and they got a just reward with a point. Had they won the match, it would have been an excellent victory against an excellent side, and you'd be raving about it. So I don't think you could have asked any more of Celtic on the night. They competed. They were fiercely competitive. They passed the ball at a speed and a tempo, and the manager was bigging up the performance, and I agree wholeheartedly with him. I think every Celtic supporter who was there and who watched on their telly or wherever they watched it in pubs or whatever, they'd have been really proud of their team tonight and the way they went about their business. And you just hope that there's more in the pipeline with that, more in the offing, in both domestically and in Europe, and you can chart a team that's progressing, because that's a team that's developing, isn't it, under Brendan Rodgers, and they're developing at a rapid rate.
Yeah. Those early teething issues, especially against Kilmarnock and St Johnstone, I know we keep on going back to them, but it's important. It's important to look at where the side has come from and where they are now. From dropping points, from drawing with St Johnstone to drawing against Atletico Madrid. I think that shows the upturn in performance level for Celtic. To be able to do that in the Champions League, it's a testament to the players. They've bought into Brendan Rodgers, and Brendan Rodgers has bought into those players that are in and around the club as well. Look at Matt O'Reilly. He was a good player under Ange Postecoglou. I made this point earlier. He's now a great player under Brendan Rodgers. He's got that extra couple of gears in his game that Brendan Rodgers has managed to unearth. He's dusted that off, and now he's at full flow, you would say. Same for other players in the pitch. I think we've seen an upturn in Callum McGregor over the past few weeks as well. Liam Scales didn't even have an opportunity. He was out on loan at Aberdeen. He's came back. Now he's a main player under Brendan Rodgers. Kyogo's went up. He's involved more in the midfield side. I know, much to your anger or your disapproval, but he is more involved in the play. He'll be getting more touches because of that too. And then new players that came to the club, some of them are still settling. The likes of Yang, the likes of Kwon. We've not even seen Kwon yet, but Luis Palma, talk about a guy to make an instant impact or a near instant impact. You think about that goal against Motherwell. You think about the goal against Kilmarnock, the assist against Hearts. It's just a really, really an instant impact from a player that looks as if he's going to take Celtic Park and the supporters by storm. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing more of him. I'm now counting down the days until Celtic play again, because it seems as if they're riding the crest of a wave. And long may it continue under Brendan Rodgers. You know, the board have got to back this man.
Yeah, Saturday that is, Easter Road. You'll see Celtic in action again. Yeah, I think the Edward Diver coming in. Celtic played football the Glasgow Celtic way. Are we not entertained? I think Celtic fans and supporters were highly entertained tonight. And yeah, I agree with you. I think they're on a journey now with Brendan Rodgers, and the early signs are looking good. And you think that it can get better, and certain players can get better. And Lewis Palma is one of those you've just got very high hopes for. And
he's like a mixture of a number of players that Celtic have had, but I think he's the best versions of quite a few players already. Is it too early to call him that sort of player? You know, the player that maybe we thought Haksabanovic was going to be, with some of the good elements of El Yunusi. You know, El Yunusi wasn't the quickest winger that Celtic have ever had, but he had a bit of guile, he had a bit of ability. He's doing it for Copenhagen now as well, so we always knew that ability was there. But Palma seems to be like a younger version. You know, he's only, 23, 24 years old. There's development to come in his game, but his passing is there, his shooting's there, his effectiveness. He knows how to win fouls. A guy next to me said he's playing that Chris Commons role. He's winning fouls in Europe. He's breaking up the play. He's understanding when to hit it out for a throw-in from the opposition player. You know, having that guile, having that not gamesmanship, but streetwise.
Yeah, it's about being streetwise. Yeah, of course it is. It's about knowing your job and getting you up the pitch. And then, I mean, that was a half chance he buried tonight. That wasn't a clear-cut opportunity, and he has rattled that into the net. And it's an absolute sublime finish. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you watch it again when you go home. Yep, Brian McGarry saying thinks Celtic can get a result in Italy. After playing like that tonight, then you've got to just go for it in the last 3 games of this group and try and replicate what you did and go in it with confidence. Entertain. It's a Celtic way. This is a Celtic way too. Maestro 95, I hope you're entertained as well by myself and young Ryan McGinlay there. It's almost 5 to 12, Ryan. Are we staying on to midnight and then you can go home, or do you want to go home now? I'll give you that option.
Have we got anything else to talk about? I'm trying to go through all the players on the pitch. A couple of good saves from Joe Hart as well on the night.
Joe Hart was excellent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really. I think the less you talk about Joe Hart, the better. That means he's doing a good job, because you don't really want to be talking about a goalkeeper unless he's pulling off outstanding saves that are keeping him in the game. But then again, if he's making outstanding saves, then why the defence not dealing with that? So the less headlines that Joe Hart has, the better. Because he did have a shaky start to the season, a couple of goals that he maybe shouldn't have conceded. He's sending off against Livingston too. But I thought he had a really, really good performance tonight, so deserves all the credit. Alistair Johnson, I thought tonight was one of his poorer games, admittedly. I thought,
agree with that,
you know, and he's not had a lot of poor games for Celtic, but I thought his passing put Celtic under a lot of pressure. It looked very, very erratic on the ball tonight. You know, his decision-making
wasn't the cleverest tonight. I think, and of all the players, I thought Alistair Johnson usually makes a correct decision, and his passing's always crisp and on point. But you know, I think it kind of, that cross he attempted to put in that went straight to the goalkeeper's arms, that was just a microcosm of the rest of his game. I just think that, not saying that particular moment affected him, but it was a real opportunity to, you know, fashion out a chance, and he just, don't know what he did, but there you go. Celtic Glasgow saying, slag off Simeone for 5 minutes.
Absolutely not. Class manager. I know he was like a bit bitter at full time, but I think that says something about Celtic's performance. The fact that he was bitter at the end of the game. I didn't really want to shake Brendan Rodgers' hand. He wanted to go up the pit. He wanted to go up the tunnel, probably to berate his players and get tore into them. I'm sure their ears would have been ringing at half time. You know, going in. It was 2-1 at half time, wasn't it?
2-1 at half time at Celtic, it was, yeah. And then Morata scored 52 minutes, and then it kind of ebbed and flowed. But I never ever thought Celtic...
Their ears would have been ringing at half-time with Simeone, and he would have given them... there's a few choice words that I could use, but I'm going to say he would have shouted at them at half-time.
I'm sure he would have. Gio saying spot on, Ryan. I think he's in relation to talking about Alistair Johnston and Francis Leicester agreeing with the both of us, saying that he was way off the left winger and his choices, decision making was very poor. Yeah, we did say that. But that apart, I think, you know, the majority of the Celtic players turned up on the night, performed very well. They got a really good point against an excellent side. I thought they were excellent at times. Just we spoke about Griezmann and how good he was, but just the way they shifted the ball and shunted it around from side to side, I thought they were excellent. They really did, and they did it at speed and a tempo. And Celtic matched that for long periods of the first half, certainly. So I was delighted with that. Absolutely delighted. And Ryan's frozen again. 4 minutes to midnight. I think we'll cut you some slack, fella, and let you go home, eh?
Yeah, as you can probably hear in the background, it seems as if the cleaners,
yeah,
the cleaners. I think they're telling me something. They're telling me it's time to go.
Time to go.
Yeah, it's what is it? 3 minutes to midnight now. We're still,
3 minutes to midnight.
We're trying our best to give you the best possible post-match reaction. You know, we've fought the elements, we've fought the cleaners as well. I don't know if they're taking us to the cleaners after this, but yeah, absolutely. I'm full of pride tonight for the performance. I thought tonight was a real character builder, as Sunday was as well. You know, going to Tynecastle, getting a great result, going back to Celtic Park, and really sticking it to Atletico Madrid, a team that, you know, would have probably turned up at Celtic Park expecting to just turn Celtic over, but they didn't. You know, Celtic were well in the game for the duration, and they deserve a lot of credit.
Yep. Scott Melville saying, well done, Ryan, sticking out at Celtic Park, and Tony fighting the call. Thank you very much. Gio saying, well done, boys. And my ball saying, night, boys, a good shift for all. See you tomorrow, hail. And Marquis, somebody saying, Celtic made many friends tonight. Yeah, I think they did. But there you go. Where is it? I'm trying to find the comment. Yes, Edward Diver saying Celtic made many friends the world over tonight. Fair enough. Excellent. 4:20 somewhere saying, great show, lads. Miss you in the morning. I've got shift to catch up tomorrow. Good evening, good night, God bless. And Hazel F67 saying, well done, great chat. Ryan, I'm going to let you go home, sir. I'm going to try and get some sleep, but see how it goes. You know, but well done today, fella. Shift and a half. And I think their overarching emotion is pride in that Celtic team, and the hope that they can get better. Maestro 95, absolutely. Good day, lads. You've both done well. We can see you struggling, Tony. I'm trying. There you go.
Passed the fitness test. He got a wee injection. That was him. He was through it for the 90 minutes. You know, indeed. He'll never throw in the towel, and we love him for that.
No, quite literally. Ryan, get yourself home, fella, and I shall see you at some point. Alrighty.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Take care. All the best, guys.